finding flow within our lives. It's magical this lifetime when we can kind of silence the mind, because the mind is effectively a processor of information. The mind works on a process, an algorithm based on perception, and what we perceive is what we will receive. And depending on what information we're receiving in this moment it will calculate to what we ultimately perceive in this present moment. And the mind is a great dictator. Our minds will constantly dictate information that we see, that we feel. No, it's more what we think to be relevant to us in this now moment. So the brain kind of works on a systematic process of giving us things that we feel to be relevant, so that we ultimately believe that our mind is who we are. And our mind is part of a processing system of which we are a part of. But the mind itself it's almost like the computer system running the program. The computer is effectively receiving what program is being run, and we can metaphorically look at in this lifetime is that the human body is a vessel, and the mind is just the program within the vessel. And we have to understand that it's not just the mind and the vessel. It's not that the mind is just programming the vessel to experience this lifetime. We have to understand that we are more, our consciousness of who we truly are. We're an experience taking place within this vessel, within this program, which our mind is ultimately experiencing. And us as individuals, as consciousness, is only the experience taking place within the vessel, within the programmed mind. Once we align with this, we can understand that the flow state is literally the infinite presence of potential. It's what ancient refers to as the Om, the infinity within infinite possibility. And the flow state simply just is. It simply is. And when we let go of more so silence the mind, we start to enter into this flow state and start to bring about a sense of knowing and a sense of honor to the unknown. And that's the magic, is when we can simply just be, and simply just, people say go with the flow. People say, just go with the flow. It's hard to do that when the mind is constantly dictating, information to us. And if we're only working with the mind, we feel like, hang on a second, we just don't get it. We can't separate ourselves from the mind, and because we feel like we are only the mind. We feel like it's our mind is who we are. And the crucial thing is to understand the mind is only a processor of information, and just a mirror. Everything that we look out towards in this lifetime, the mind will reflect information back to us, and we will perceive what's relevant and what's relevant to us. We need to go one step back further into ourselves and understand, okay, the mind is processing information. The mind is telling me what's relevant and what's not relevant. However, I'm going to try and even go further back into myself and understand that the true I is much greater than just what the mind is processing of this reality. The true I is infinity itself, and is infinite potential, having a human experience, having a human lifetime. And when we do that, we will start to reunite with this flow state. We will start to raise above this kind of mind matrix, and we will start to flow within higher dimensional frequencies, and not just higher dimensional frequencies, but we'll start to activate and align with the true self, with the higher self. Because this lifetime we're only experiencing through these five senses. Outside of this kind of, not necessarily the true I doesn't just exist in this frequency range or this reality, this planet. We are multi-dimensional entities, and when we start to understand that we may be perceiving this reality and we may be living our lives within this reality, but we are also aware, our consciousness is also aware outside of this reality. And when we start to let go of just trying to be here, and it's still relevant because we still live in this world, we still need to survive in this world, we still need to be able to process this world, and we still need to be strong, and we need to be survivors in this world. But at the same time, we need to open ourselves up and understand that, there is life on the other side of this reality, and there is consciousness, there is knowledge, there is truth, and there is love outside of this reality. And there is a part of ourselves outside of this reality, and we may be having a human experience here, but there is also part of us outside of this reality. And it doesn't matter what you look at it as. Some people follow religion, some people believe that the God is outside of this reality, and then when we leave this reality, we go back to God, and this is great. It doesn't matter how you look at it, but the truth is that when we leave this reality, we will transform, and we will transcend into the same essence of ourselves, but just into we will just go into a different frequency, and when we start to take in this knowledge, start to connect with this knowledge, we will see that within ourselves lives higher potential. And this is the magic, is understanding that there is higher potential for us. And when we start to work with this potential, work with this knowledge, trust in ourselves, we will start to grow within ourselves. And it's that growth which starts to help build this kind of self-centered awareness, which then we can start to work with, and then we start to take back control of our minds and start to unite and find balance within the mind and the soul. And when we do that, the mind is no longer the enemy. We're no longer the enemy to ourselves. We start to love ourselves, and so on and so on. We start to find growth within ourselves. Bang.